queries you have. So what we're going to do today is basically turn this piece of kind of quick concept art I have into an in-game monster. And to do that, we first have to actually draw the thing. So let's see, we have some space. Yeah, we totally have space in the primary monster sprite sheet. There we go. So that's a sprite sheet that otherwise mostly consists out of the giant squid. And we are going to add on top of that somewhere off to the side. I think we have enough space, like here, to make our Fleshcracker monster. Which isn't going to be that big. As monsters go in this game, it's probably one of the smallest ones. But on the other hand, it does get deployed en masse. Okay. So the other thing which we need here is our default color scheme. And that just sort of block out the basic shape of what this thing is going to look like based on the actual sketch. So I think I'm going to make it like 2 units wide, which means that the sort of torso is going to be also about 2 units tall, and then yeah, kind of the butt is 1 unit tall, and so on. We can kind of work with that as a basic kind of set of dimensions. So let's pick the color for steel and just sort of go somewhere in the middle. Hopefully we're not interfering with the bounding boxes of the squid. And let's just start out by drawing a really boring rectangle, which is going to be its torso. And then we'll work from that to make it less boring. Oh, yeah, it's the torso. Then the hips. Going to be down here. And in fact, we're going to chop off a bit of the torso. Oops, no. Oh. Note to self, draw your stuff on the right layer. Right. Oh yeah, if you hear any kind of weird crashing sounds in the background, that's our cats. We've been away for about a day, and now they're really wound up because we're finally back and they feel that we should be constantly playing with them. Oh, hi Mechfried. Thanks for joining the stream. Right, so here. And then we're going to use this slots color here for the waist. And I don't know. Maybe this wiring one. Yeah, that sounds cats. No, that's too bright. And we can just go really black. Well, that's going to be too dark. Okay, I think I will try to do the sort of slottedness. I'll try to do the texture here using the lighting engine. Yeah, so many cat sounds, I'm sorry. So what I'm making is a Fleshcracker, which is this monster here. It's kind of a robotic terror mecha. And yeah, I do actually use Linux, NetBeans, and GIMP for developing it, and like just Pluma for text editing and so on. I used to use Macs, and then I switched to Linux for a variety of reasons. But I have like zero knowledge of how to operate Windows. It's sort of embarrassing. Like every time I boot into Windows, I'm just like, how do I do anything here? So yeah, I try to use. I'm kind of. I know that like for most Windows users, I think they go into Linux and they're like, what is this thing? I don't know how to use it, and that's how I feel about Windows. So I'm comfortable with my terribly open source tools. Okay, so we've done its little robot waist, and basically its legs are just going to stick out here, out of the bottom. Probably in practice, I want a little bit of a roundedness there, so we'll see. Okay, and then we need to have its head. Which sort of a bit taller than that. Notably can't rotate its head. And then it has like its kind of cap. It is unclear why a giant killer robot needs a cap, but it has a cap. There. Okay, so I'm just going to make this a little bit less tall because I'd like it to align with the collision bounding box. There, I think that's still fine. And then of course it has its grisly mouth, like here. So one of the questions is, to what degree am I going to animate this? I mean, I might just do it statically, but I think it might be better if like the arms move and maybe the head rotates or something. I'm going to start out just with the sort of non-animated version and then think about making it more complex. Okay, and it's got this pipe coming out of its back, out of the back of its head really, which is like the exhaust. Yeah, like that. Yeah, so the bounding boxes, the whole collision system is actually kind of really horribly basic. There are the collision system is literally only capable of understanding grid tiles. So everything just collides aligned with this 16 times 16 pixel blocks, which means that I tend to have to sort of cheat about it a bit. And this is sort of a daft limitation of the engine, which I occasionally think about fixing, but it would be quite a lot of work. So I might do it yet, but so far I've kind of resisted. Because the thing with these things always is it actually worth, does it actually make a significant gameplay or visual difference? Or is it just a thing that, I featured about and no one else cares? And should I perhaps better invest their time in like making more content, making more features, fixing bugs and so on, instead of, working on tiny details that no one's ever going to notice? That's a bit hard to tell. So yeah, just gonna kind of figure that out. Okay, so there's that, and then we also need to give it eyes, which again, I guess, oops. Yeah, something like that. Okay, so that's like the very basic outline. I'm going to draw. It's kind of hard, so theoretically I have to draw the arm. No, actually not going to draw the arms, because and the way it's going to work is that one of the arms is actually going to be a Gatling gun and the other one's actually going to be a tentacle. Unlike here in this concept drawing where it's just an arm with a gripper, I'm just going to add a tentacle because that will actually be easier. Yes, your cats, I know. So we're going to draw the Gatling gun barrel separately. The only mild problem, which I foresee, is that both the gun barrel and the tentacle will be drawn underneath the actual main image, which will mean that somehow both things are like in the hand that's facing away. And I just also realized I did my usual mistake, which is that I drew the whole thing facing left, which is incorrect. It should be facing right. So let's just fix that. Okay, so actually let's just start out by drawing its legs next, because then we can import it into the game just as a thing that walks around, and we can see how badly things go wrong with that basic concept, and then we can work on refining all the details. Okay, so for now I'm just going to re-export this monster sprite sheet. And then we need legs, or wheels and legs. There. So this is the sprite sheet where all of the legs go. Because they get drawn on the layer together, it makes sense to have those all in the same sheet. Okay. Actually, for a first flush, you can probably even steal graphics from this. Yeah, we'll just steal the small leg graphics, because I just really want to, get this thing into the game as quickly as possible, so we can see how well it behaves and if it's the right size and stuff like that. So, okay, let's just create the actual module for it. So yeah, the trick with monsters is that really just secretly airships and landships that consist out of like one or two modules that are the monster. And I guess for the I'll just use like the head of a wolf spider as the thing to derive from. Okay, so it's a Fleshcracker. It is 5 tall and 2 wide. It's in monsters at X20, Y and that's wrong, X50, Y768 width 2, height 5, And then we actually layer an external appearance on top of it, so it renders correctly. I think that is the way we want to do it. Okay, let's give it like 3000 hit points. This does have generic destruction fragments because it's a robot, so that's okay. Probably weighs more like 500 and has a cost of 500. And it's probably pretty slow, so we're going to give it a propulsion of like 2, which might be too slow, we'll see. We'll just leave the normal weapon of the spider in for now, which will be completely wrong, but let's ignore that. Okay, and the legs, so the legs are going to be completely different really. So I'm just going to copy the leg data from small legs. Just copy those wholesale. Boom. Okay. And then like fix the obvious offset issues. There. Probably make the springs rather longer and stronger so it has a more upwards gait. So let's give them like a length of 130 for the fully relaxed spring, and we'll see how that goes. So that's really something we just have to sort of iterate on to see what sort of physics constants and so on will make the legs move sensibly. But yeah, I think that's the basics done. We can now actually boot into the game and sort of see what happens. No, we can't, because I made a terrible mistake. Yeah, that's not meant to be 768. I calculated that and I threw away the result. 48. So yeah, speaking generally about the development of Dev 9, I'm sort of mixing in two things really. A whole huge list of kind of UI suggestions and sort of minor fixes and stuff which I noticed at Gamescom. So if you don't know, I went to this huge game trade show in Germany about a month ago now, and we spent 5 days showing the game to people, and I got a lot of time actually observing people playing it and seeing them go through the tutorial and stuff like that. So there's a whole list of things which I sort of want to improve on the basis of, people newly playing the game. Yeah, I do all start the game in debug because Java's reasonably good about letting me do like at least minor code modifications while the game's running. So that's pretty useful. Cuts down on development time because I don't have to constantly restart the game. Okay, so let's open the Landship editor. And hopefully, yeah, there we go, mod Fleshcracker. There we go, it looks ridiculous, but so what. So let's save this on the Fleshcracker. And let's just see how it actually moves. So it's not showing up properly in some of these screens because I haven't rerun the sprite sheet baking process for the non-lit versions, because it uses, for some displays it uses the actual lighting engine, and then for some of the simpler displays it just uses versions of the graphics with the lighting kind of baked in, but I need to actually run this process for them to show up. Okay, and then let's just add like a completely useless building that won't hurt us. Now we can see, so yeah, it's firing spider spit at the moment. Okay, that's an interesting failure mode. It appears to have literally disconnected from the ground. That's a new one. Okay. Okay, so I think I need to make the springs less long, is my guess. So let's make them less long, but we'll also massively increase their actual spring constants, because I would really like the legs to move kind of fairly upright, which is something they haven't really done before. So I have to figure out how to hopefully get the parameters right. Now, one of the nice things about this game is because of the whole thing with the modding system, if I change something in the data files, I can just reload the data files in game and instantly see the changes without having to restart the game. Okay, I mean, I think one of the issues is that the knees ought to be the other way around, and the legs are just too long. Okay, so the knee orientation thing we can fix. For the too long legs, we just need to draw separate graphics. So let's do that next. Might use the same graphics for the feet. Well, I think the other things need changing. I think the legs need to be like almost only half as long, really. Okay, having some minor balance issues here. It's also moving too fast, way too fast. Okay, so let's get started. Fix 1 is let's give it far less propulsion. There. Step 2 is actually changing the leg graphics. So so these segments here right now are like 70 pixels, and we want to go to like nearly half, so let's try 40 pixels. But legs are quite solid, so okay. Then I think I'm gonna steal the way this joint looks, except not, because I'm on the wrong layer. Yep. Oh, okay, it's just a grey circle of that size. So like this, and I'm not going to taper the legs at all. Because they should look really stompy, right? Okay, now we've got our super stompy legs. Stompy legs. Again, export those. Okay, and so the new leg images are at 1131. And 1152. We'll keep the same foot. We'll also actually make them bend forwards. We'll decrease the step length to really a lot less, like 10, 12. We want them to be more stompy. And we'll give them way more maximum time to do an actual step movement. Okay. Probably didn't need to close down the game for this either. I probably could have reloaded the images, come to think of it. I sometimes forget just how much the game can reload without quitting. Because it used not to be like that before I put in all the modding stuff. Basically all of this information was hard-coded, so if you changed something you had to exit and restart, even for changing a minor number, which was really annoying. Okay, so let's just go straight back into combat. I have this distinct feeling that maybe I messed something up. Just a little bit, yeah. Oh. I didn't change the limb length value. Okay. Oh look, it's still wrong. Okay, try again. You see, now it's really nice that I can do this reloading, because those two mistakes would have just cost me like 10 minutes instead of 1. Yeah. Oh, now the springs are way too long. Righty-ho. Oh yeah, so speaking of Dev 9 development, so apart from this sort of just trying to do lots of kind of making the UI nicer to use and details like that, the main thing is just these monsters now. There's still some game mechanics about them that I want to introduce, like the ability for monster nests to actively attack players in strategic mode and so on. And the other thing is what I'm doing right now, which is just adding more creatures of a variety of sorts. Okay, now at least it's got its feet on the ground, which is, you know, an improvement. Oh wow. Well, he looks a little bit like he needs to go to the bathroom. But no, apart from that minor issue. Okay, I need to make the step length a bit longer again, and if possible, make it. Oh, damn. It's done that thing again. So that's like a stupid edge case in the behavior of the legs. So the feet are so far back that they're not touching the ground, but the springs are, because they're just measured vertically, I still hallucinate that they can touch the ground, and now it's stuck in midair because of that. This is something which I'm just going to have to fiddle around with the leg engine to fix. Yeah, so basically one part of the code thinks that the feet are supporting it, and the other part of the code thinks that the feet aren't on the ground, and hence it can't propel itself. Yeah, and okay, so that's the big problem, because like I really want to make the length of the leg springs like longer, like 75 or something. And I guess I want to make the step length a bit longer again, like that maybe. But when I do that, I'm going to exacerbate this problem. You see, right now this looks pretty good, as long as it's not actively moving. Now this actually looks like it's walking, kinda, right? But it's completely failing. As soon as it encounters, see, and then it almost instantaneously suffers from this sort of floating in midair problem. That was it already. It's already floating in midair again. So yeah, this is just something that I will have to think about how to fix properly. But honestly, that's just going to involve a lot of boring restarting and fiddling and so on. So I think for now, we're just going to make this thing have kind of a bit bent knees. And we'll, you know, fix it in post. And work on everything else that's not like the awkward fact that its legs are weird. Yeah, now it looks like it's doing some kind of Russian military dance. But on the plus side, it's much better behaved and doesn't crash out in weird ways. Okay, so let's work on all the other bits. I do need to actually taper. Need to make the legs bigger, or taper the make the feet bigger, or taper the legs a bit more. I think it will make the feet bigger. And then we'll work on actually adding the shading and the guns and all of those things to, it's no longer firing spider spit out of a mysterious place, like floating in the air in front of it and stuff like that. So let's give it a foot as well. And actually a pretty tall foot, I think. And a pretty wide foot as well. Oh, I can just use the big foot here. I used the foot from the larger type of leg. So, let's steal this. Okay. So next up, let's do its gun. So it's basically going to have a giant Gatling gun as its sort of arm weapon, and we'll work on like showing it in the correct layers in a bit. Basically, that means. So that's like the shoulder joint. And that's the arm. And that's the like actual rotary gun. That, and so the other thing it's going to have on the other hand, which I'll just draw as well, is a tentacle. So what I need for that is basically just a segment of the tentacle, a bit like these here. something like that. We'll actually do a different segment approach, segment appearance for the terminal segment, which we can do. We can override particular segments. So we'll make the last segment look like some kind of horrible robot claw. So we really get the best of both worlds. Horrible robot claws and tentacles. What more could you possibly want? Something like that anyway. Yeah. Flip vertically. Evil robot claw. It's what's for breakfast. Yeah. Okay, so that's all the bits. Now let's just also actually do the bump map. So this is a great time if you have any questions about the game and its development. This is a great time to ask, because this bit's going to be a bit like, I don't want to say boring, but you know, I just have to do all of this lighting mapping thing now. Okay, so let's get this show on the road. I might need a normal spreadsheet so I can copy some values from it. Okay, so let's first do the vertical bump map. So the red channel controls basically how much light comes from the top and from the bottom. And so I'm just doing the hard sort of edges here. And then the hard downwards edges. Yeah, that probably wants to kind of go inward significantly. So like that. Then we'll do the soft edges. Okay, I should do all the other bits as well. So Gatling gun. Yeah, so these maps are for the real-time 2D lighting system, and then there's a lighting baking system which just statically takes this and applies a simplified form of lighting to it. So if you are using low graphics, you still get like decent looking graphics. And it, as I said, it also uses it for some displays in the game where it doesn't have the lighting system available. Okay. Yes, of course, as usual, I will also be syndicating this to YouTube. So if you are watching it and you like need to go to bed or catch fire or something, don't worry, you can catch up on the whole thing later. Okay, now instead of trying to get this perfectly right, we'll just flip it and recolor it. So you should have waited with that because I also need to do the stronger one. Like that. Same thing here. I'm not sure why I forgot to shade the brown bit. The brown bit totally gets to be shaded too. Yeah, that's right. So basically the whole game's engineered that you don't actually need shader support at all. You can run the game on a computer which has a sufficiently ancient GPU that it doesn't understand what a shader is. It will just draw things from textures without applying any shaders. I mean, obviously you're still going to run into other performance problems probably, but you can fundamentally run it on those specs machine like that. And yeah, I mean, in terms of performance, I continue working on trying to make the performance of the game as good as possible. You might have seen this probably mildly controversial thing that I just kind of added mailers for very big ships, which I did entirely because I was running into this problem that people would make these gigantic airships and then they would be sad because the performance of the game was really bad. And so I had to make gigantic airships worse in the hope that they would stop making ones so big that the computers couldn't cope with them. And the thing is, obviously I can improve the performance, but if improving the performance just means that people make even bigger airships and run into the same problem again, then that's not actually very useful or productive. Which is why I just took the slightly heavy-handed approach of reducing the hit points of very big airships, or what I consider very big airships. And I mean, that doesn't mean that I'm abdicating responsibility for the performance of the game. Far from that. I just need to ultimately the game is simulating hundreds of little crewmen running around and all of that sort of stuff. And that is going to be a bit tough on the CPU. So while I can incrementally boost performance down some kind of easy fixes where I can quickly do massive improvements anymore. Okay, so all the vertical stuff done. Let's now do the horizontal lighting. So again, first the strong one. Actually, just do the weak one first. How much did I use here? 9, and the whole thing is 26 wide. Yeah, that's about right. Something like that. So this bit is 32 wide, so roughly a third of that is 10. So, well, why did I wipe out that? That was incorrect. That should still be that. Right. Okay, let's just do this as well while we're at it. So, I'm messing this up. Something like that. Yep. Oh, and also this wants to be sort of an innie, so like that. Oh, this is actually not one module, so in fact it should be like that. Better. Okay, yeah, we can see it's starting to kind of acquire some three-dimensional shape. Yeah. Okay, now the hard lighting. Again, like that. Heck. Oh dear. I was just drawing into the wrong layer. That's why it looked weird. I think. Let's just start again. Yeah, you see. No, it's no longer weirdly green, just green. Okay. Then hard lighting in the other direction. Yeah, so those bits are for Fleshcracker, steampunk monster. Okay. Then the front of the gun. Okay, so that's all done. Now we just need to do the shininess channel, which indicates how strongly the lighting is applied, basically, which in this case, because it's a robot, it has a shiny metal ass, and hence, yes, shiny. Yes, I will in fact be at Switzerland. There will be a tournament. So Switzerland's a LAN party in Bern, in Switzerland, in a few weeks' time, and there will actually be a tournament for Airships Conquer the Skies there. I'm still organising all the details, but it will hopefully happen. It will hopefully be good. Okay, so let's export the bump map. And the spreadsheet again. And let's see, the legs still aren't shaded, but let's just look at how the rest looks like. So let's actually give it a proper looking gun. Okay, so basically this is like a giant Gatling gun, so I'm going to grab some... I'm going to grab a lot of the data from the Gatling gun definition. It doesn't have a clip, so I can fire indefinitely. I'm going to make it significantly more accurate. It's a heavy Gatling gun, so it's getting significantly more punching power. I'm also giving it quite a big fire arc so that the Fleshcracker is not vulnerable against aerial attacks. So I'm going to give it like a 240-degree arc. But still a quite close optimum range. Now we need to do the logic for the actual gun barrel. Okay, so the center of the barrel is, relatively speaking, I guess, here. So that's at 1 unit of X and that much of Y. The length, also in units for no good reason, is 3.5. Now we need to do the actual appearance of the barrel. to believe where the shot is, but the barrel now comes from monsters. And it's here. So the reason why I'm having all of this empty space to the left of the barrel is simply that, as a simplifying assumption, in general, the graphics in Airships always rotate around their center. So if you say rotate this image, it assumes you want to rotate it around its center. And that's just easier to define, because then you don't have to say where the rotational center is. But it means that for things like gun barrels, you need to leave some empty space to the left so the rotational center is in the right place. Okay, so that's 848784. Width of 112, height of 16. Okay, now we just needed to do the magic math of 16 minus 112 divided by 2. So the barrel X is at minus 40. The barrel Y is at 38 minus 8. So at 30. And there's no recoil. Okay, so that should be the weapon. Let's also do the tentacle. So for there, we're just going to go into squid. Oh, the other thing which I actually need to do quickly is that I need to change the external appearance a bit to be wider, because as you might have noticed, it was actually cutting off the brim of its hat and its steam pipe. So that's easy enough. We just say it's x of minus 1, and then we make it full wide, and ta-da! The bits which stick out and actually get rendered properly. Okay, so here's a squid. We are just going to grab one of its tentacle definitions. And then work on it to be more correct. And a lot of this will need some work. Okay, so the number of segments is not that many, like 12. The basic angle is straight pointing forwards, I think. The X offset and the Y offset are the same as with the gun, so that's 1 and 2.375. So there's all these values of stiffness and whatnot, which will, figure out in the future. The base length is going to be 16 and the tip length is going to be 8. Yeah, that's fine. The base width is going to be like 12 and the tip width is going to be 6, something like that. It snatches crew. That's like the fun thing. It actually eats crew. That's some kind of insane terror thing. We need to say where the mouth is. So that's at, well, basically at x2, y 1.75. I don't think it attacks the hull. Okay, then we need the segment image. Oh, we need a vertically flipped version of the segment image. Oh well, okay, we can do that. So here's the segment image. Just copy all the bump maps. Wait. But then that was unnecessary. Okay, the vertically flipped version is the same there. Right. Something like that, probably. We'll just keep the sounds like they are for now. So something like that. We might have to fiddle again with the details, but at least it now officially has flesh-eating tentacles. And a Gatling gun. So let's boot this up and see if I made any typos. Yeah, I did. I forgot to put a comma here. Okay, well, it launched. Yeah, it's not entirely impossible. Haha. Look at that, huh? Okay, some minor mistakes were made. Well, that's certainly not too bad, huh? I think I like the way the tentacles come out. Okay. So yeah, I did the offset wrong. There. And Gatling gun certainly made short work of its target. Let's give it a bit of a bigger building to shoot at. Let's also like use a dramatic lighting so we can see if the lighting's actually working well. Yeah. Now you see this is looking pretty good, I think. Look at that horrible monstrosity. I think that's a pretty good horrible monstrosity. With its sort of weird angry looking tentacle arm. Which one has to be a little bit longer yet. I'm not sure. Just needs to be able to reach the ground. Which you probably can actually. Yeah, okay, that's pretty good. I'm pleased. Okay, so we need to do okay, the height of its feet is wrong. And we need to add shading to its actual legs. These are the obvious next things that need doing. So let's do that. yeah, look, you can actually, this is a great opportunity to see the dynamic lighting system as it lovingly flashes up the flash of each Gatling shot against its tentacle. You can really see how, you know, it's actually dynamically lit. Like, there. Pretty neat, I think. Okay. Oh yeah, and the other thing which we want to add is we want to add smoke coming out of its little smokestack. Pardon my, I've got this sort of stupid ongoing cough issue thing. Yeah, so let's do that. Also, I think I moved the attachment point of the legs down a little bit. Okay. Anything else? Oh, yeah, ideally the Gatling, well, I don't know. I guess it doesn't have to be a rotary type. It actually looks pretty good like that, I think. I might actually add a bit of recoil as well. I think that would look okay. There. Okay. So the lighting on the legs. Oh yeah, and this, no. We need to, I think, steal the foot width and height of the large legs, put them into the Fleshcracker here, so that that works correctly. Okay. Time to do the bump mapping on here. So we're going to steal the bump, I think, from this, and probably modify it a bit. Just like the major difference is these are sort of solid cylindrical legs. Something like that, probably. So suggesting that now that bit is just quite deep. Oh, and here we have a cat walking around. Oh, cat, are you going to throw the microphone off the table like the other time? Are you going to make all of our viewers have no more ears? Let me reassure you that I will stop the cat from doing this. Well. Dear cat, please behave. Yep, something like that. So let's check this hypothesis that I can just reload the graphics as well. Yeah. Evidently. Okay, let's see if its tentacle works. So it should be able to snatch crew members out of the window of this building and devour them. Well, okay, the Gatlingun might be a little overpowered. Like, okay, let's reduce the damage of that. Okay, made it a bit less accurate and gave it less damage. Actually, no, I'll keep the damage up, but I'll make the reload slower, something like that. Yes. Yes, it actually, I mean, it instantly destroyed everything, but no, it just nearly... Why is this Gatling gun so good? It's a bit weird. No, no. Okay, this time it was the Fleshcracker that died. I think I need to make its tentacle a little bit longer. So I'm going to give it 16 segments, and I'll make the tip length be like 6. No, okay, I'll keep it at that. Okay. Yeah, so now its tentacle is significantly longer. Yes, yes, guys, look. It's working. Can you see the poor innocent soldier here being born towards his inevitable, now slow motion, doom. Momphed. Nice. I am pleased. Now look at this. I mean, this is just like brilliant. It's pretty much perfect. I'm just going to screenshot this for like posterity, because I mean, this makes a good screenshot. Okay, screenshot done. Hideous robot monster done. Yeah, I am pleased with this. So what remains to be done? Well, I still need to do the fragments it splits up into. I need to see if I can fiddle around with the spring logic for the legs, so it's less. It can walk in a slightly straighter fashion. But that's pretty much it. Apart from that, we've just made a giant flesh-cracking doom monster thing. And yes, so the idea is that in the game you will encounter these being like sent to you by mad scientists from the like mad science layers. And said mad scientists, if you conquer one of the layers, if you get lucky, you'll be able to build them yourself if you get the construction plans. Yeah, that's basically the concept. Oh, I just noticed a tiny detail here with the lighting on those inner bits that that's not quite right yet, but I should be able to fix that as well. So I think this is a decent place to stop. There's still a few things which need fixing up, but it's going to be kind of an iterative process.